Howdy folks, Charlie here from Christmas on Crestline. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for tuning in to a finished product episode. Today I'm going to give you the grand tour of our face cutout photo prop. I wanted to make sure I got this final product video out for you guys to watch. For those of you who have watched our entire playlist of how we made this, from the moment we came home from the hardware store till today's video, all the hours of sanding it and weatherproofing it to get this thing as smooth as glass before we could give it to the artist. This is a hands-on family photo prop. Kids are going to be, well, parents too are going to be having their face in here. We want to make sure there's no chance whatsoever of splinters, and everything on here is as smooth as glass. So that's one thing we took a lot of pride on, and is getting this piece of wood set properly before we gave it to the artist. For those of you who are interested on how I made this, I'll put a link in the description and a link up here so you guys can go to that if you're interested. Although this coming spring, in our playlist on how we built this, we kind of focused on building it and let the artist do her thing. Well, this coming spring, we're going to focus on how do you get this painted. There is a very simple trick, a very cool trick, and a very neat trick that you can do to make your own, whether it be if you're a Halloween decorator, if you're a Christmas decorator, if you're a 4th of July decorator. You can build one of these things. It's pretty simple. You've already got the playlist that I created on how to make the wood. This coming spring, we're going to teach you a very simple trick on how to make this painting wise. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell if you're interested in making one of these for yourself, so you can see that neat trick when it comes out this spring. And you may be a person that's, hey man, it's Christmas time now, I'll watch. I don't want to watch anything Christmas related in the springtime. That's fine, cool. But just remember, I do a year-round show. There may be something I do in spring that you might miss, that you like, I wish I would have known that I've done that this year. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, so you can at least know what I'm up to. And let's get to the grand tour. This is an 8 foot by 4 foot 1 inch piece of wood that I spent a lot of hours sanding and making sure it's as smooth as glass. This photo prop is oil painted and it faces the west, so the sun is going to set down on this bad boy. I didn't want it to get faded. I didn't want to lose any of the pop of the colors, so I did put a spray on UV protectant on this to keep it from fading, as the sun's going to beam down on this thing in the evening and in the afternoons. As you can see here, I framed this pretty much like you would a picture frame. I got 2x4s cut to give it a sturdiness. The wood itself is kind of concave, so this keeps it as flat as possible throughout the season. I put this 45-degree angle post along with a latch back here and some sandbags, some 70-pound sandbags, to keep the wind from getting to it. You may have noticed I have orange tape in different spots on the frame. That's something I did last year, and my logic behind that was, if it was a transition moment in my program and the yard might be dark for a few seconds, I wanted to add a visual clue to folks that, hey, there's a 45-degree angle 2x4 here, please don't trip. But after talking to folks last year, they never even noticed the tape was there, and the bright whiteness of the frame does stick out even in the pitch black dark, even during a transition moment in the program. So the tape just was not necessary. You do want to put something down on the ground to keep the family's pants, shoes, knees all nice and dry. Now if it's actively raining or if there's snow that's blowing, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But if it's done raining, the next day you need to come out here and make sure you clean all this up, as I do, because I don't want kids getting back in the car, and dads getting back in the car, and moms getting back in the car, especially grandmas getting back in the car, being wet. No one wants that in the middle of winter when you have a whole other, 18 houses to go see Christmas lights on. So we do make sure there is something here for their needs. In our case, we use this tarp to make sure everybody's nice and dry. I have 3 sandbags that kind of weigh this photo prop down. I don't want this face cut out taken off in our Kansas winds, as does happen with some props. I wanted to make sure this thing was sturdy. Now the face cutouts do add some wind resistance, because it does allow the wind to pass through it without kind of tilting it. And this whole structure weighs about 125 pounds, so it does have some weight to it, but I wanted to make sure it was nice and anchored so our Kansas winds don't take this thing and, oh, you've seen Wizard of Oz, same thing. One tip I'd give you that I didn't do last year that kind of cost me some time this year is I didn't mark how this thing went together. I built it, I put it on last year, and I took it off. I never marked it. So this year it took me about 45 minutes to kind of figure out where all the pieces went. So this year I marked it with A, and A. Next year, all the A's would go together, and I did that on each point. I put a marking on there, and you don't have to do letters. You can do numbers or whatever you want to do, but that's just how I did it. So next year, bam, everything is going to go on nice and quick. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, I was a little paranoid that no one would use this. We had between 3,000 and 5,000 people that used this last year, and last year was our very first year. And I apologize for not getting this video at the end of last year, but we were so close to the deadline of getting this thing out and getting it ready. I just didn't have time to film that video. So I did want to make sure I got the grand finale video out for this year. If you decide to make your own face cutout photo prop, make sure you take a picture of it and send it to us at christmasOnCrestline@gmail.com, and we'll be certain to get that into a future episode. If you have any questions about the face cutout photo prop that I didn't go over, make sure you leave it down in the comments and I'll get you an answer quick as anything. I think that's about it for today. Merry Christmas. See you in the next episode, guys.